economy has changed over the last 20 years, New Zealand has had to change too. Farming has certainly seen its fair share of ups and downs, making stories like this one all too common.
There had been a bleak winter in the mid-80s. Farming had hit tough times. High interest rates, low returns. The Davies were a family struggling against the odds. The only hope was to find another way to make money. Paul had tried possum hunting, eeling, even growing tomatoes. But the only thing growing was the family's debt. There was only one logical answer.
Popcorn. For the Davies family of Te Awamutu, popcorn was going to be their pot of gold.
And it all began with an ad in the Waikato Daily Times looking for people to grow popping corn.
Obviously we answered that ad and we grew some popcorn that year, 4 acres, just a small block because it was experimental, and it grew well and went from there really.
It soon turned into 8 acres, then 13, then 23. At this stage, Paul saw the potential for doing things more efficiently.
Originally we were growing it for a couple of American people who'd come to New Zealand and they were going to market popping corn in New Zealand. But I guess after a few years it sort of never turned out for them for various reasons. And when it sort of started to turn sour for them, I guess it was then that we started popping this corn ourselves.
We could see that there was a niche market for it because there was no other popcorn in, on the shelves, 1 or 2 varieties, so it was just another plan to go along with.
Their first innovation was to start popping the corn themselves, something they did in and around their day jobs. The next was to use their contacts.
And we had a friend in town who owned a video outlet, and he was fortunate enough to have been one of the firms in town that got a lotto outlet, which was the first year for lotto. And he sort of had seen our popper and so on, and he said to us, oh, well, why don't you come down and bring your little popper down on the Saturday morning and pop popcorn up and we'll give it away to the people as they come in to get their lotto ticket. And of course, back then, every man and his dog went in on a Saturday morning to buy a lotto ticket. So we were busy. Everyone was quite, I guess, intrigued by the popping and the popper. And of course, it was free.
We sell it in little white paper bags, and the queues got so long that we had to start popping on a Friday night. Popping and sealing it in a plastic bag, and so if people couldn't wait, they had their bag full to take with them.
With the promotion being such a success, Paul decided it was time to expand. So, after milking cows in the morning, he would hit the road selling popcorn to video stores, dairies and petrol stations in the surrounding area. Then, after the second milking of the day, he and Donna would pop corn for the rest of the night.
I found our whole life revolved around popcorn. We were cooking it in our kitchen, so you never got away from popcorn or the smell of popcorn.
When you sort of look back, I know it's gone well for us, but you sort of think, heck, you'd never do it again. It was just sort of seemed, in amongst everything else, it was all day, every day.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. You had the growing of it and then harvesting it and all that side as well. And you had to organise staff, and then you had to organise ingredients, and you still had the cows and other things, and you sort of think back and you think, how did you do it? But...
So, from a pot in the kitchen of their Te Awamutu cottage to the shed out in the garden, from the shed to this rented factory, and now to this, a state-of-the-art, fully automated factory.
Today, Pop and Good provides 90% of the country's popcorn. So whether you're at the movies, the video shop or the supermarket, chances are you're contributing to the company's annual turnover of $6 million. Though along the way, the Davies have faced their fair share of challenges.
It was hard trying to get money, and I suppose we were already fairly highly indebted with having bought the farm, and that's why we were doing other things, like Donna was teaching and I was doing an AI run in the spring, and we were growing potatoes and raspberries and doing all these things to try and get income. And at the end of the day, I guess it all went into the one pot. The sales from the popcorn, that money, we just put that back into the business all the time to fund it. But yeah, it would be great to have had a big pot of money to start the whole thing from, but you just got to grow the business steadily.
While Paul's business instincts were good, he also realised the importance of knowing when to delegate and when to take advice.
It's been a matter of knowing how far your time can go in your skills and then knowing when to take someone else on. I think it's sort of been said that that's been one of the strengths that I've had. I've been able to go so far and then bring someone else in, because you can only do so much and you only know so much.
In order for Pop and Good to continue growing, the Davies brought in consultant Fred Dobbs, who set about making major changes.
The leap from that being what you might call the kitchen era to the factory era had just been accomplished, but beyond that there wasn't a great deal of sophistication in the management of the company. It was production oriented because Paul is essentially a production man and does an extremely good job on that, and it's his talent and knowledge that makes the company go. I found also that there wasn't a great deal of what you might call management practice. There had to be more discipline in the company, and I saw that as my role.
Eventually, Fred Dobbs became a company director and has helped Pop and Good to form a long-term strategy, a strategy which is expected to gross the company up to $10 million in the next financial year. While the company's success has gone way beyond their expectations, Paul and Donna still live and work on their Te Awamutu dairy farm.
People have often said, you know, why haven't you sold it? But I couldn't think of anywhere better to go. The business is still just down the road. In terms of that as well, we've got good labour. Costs are lower than in the major cities. And, yeah, we just generally love the lifestyle, I guess.
Next, in the studio with South Auckland's most ambitious hip-hop label.
If we